Hello there, only one Kenobi here, only one. Welcome back to another episode of Top to Flop. So we're going to be looking at Old Ben today. It's a video I did actually in the summer, but I got it wrong and I forgot a figure in the list. So I'm filming it again today and we're in January 2024. And I just want to film this to start with. This is technically the best, but this is not going to be an official application because what you're looking at here is a kit bash of my own. It is the Legacy Collection Ben Kenobi, but he's not wearing the correct robe. This is a much better robe for the figure, undoubtedly, but this robe comes from Luke Skywalker Jedi lightsaber construction, which was a reissue of a vintage collection figure about 2015. And when they reissued the figure, they gave him a more fitted cloak, cape, robe, whatever you want to say. And I've put that robe on this Ben Kenobi here. Look at it, way better. 100% improvement to the figure. So when you do come to make the definitive old Ben Hasbro, please do consider getting the scalings of the robe correct. After I've just let you enjoy that, let's have a look at what is the official entrant for the list, and it's the same figure again. And I'm saying that this is the best they've made, ladies and gentlemen, but it does have some stiff competition right behind there. It is the Legacy Collection Old Ben Kenobi from Tatooine. I'm saying that that is the best Old Ben Kenobi figure that they have ever produced. And just like with the other one, you can see it's a fully articulated figure. Really good head sculpt. You can see a lot of Alec Guinness in there. Nice mix of hard and soft goods there. Classic lightsaber. Somebody was asking me about these lightsabers in the comments not long ago. They wanted to know if they were going to bring back the flare end, the flare tip, or whatever you want to call that, where the emission happens. I don't know. I quite like those though. So that's that. I very easily could have given this first place. Let's move on. It is the Ben Kenobi from the Last Jedi line. Now what makes this figure amazing is the facial sculpt is just so good. It's a really good figure of Alec Guinness, Obi Wan Kenobi. The only problem I've got with it, and many might do, is the lack of articulation. I don't really care for a figure like Ben. I just want him standing there like that anyway. It's just the fact that the elbows are locked in that one position. It's a shame. Even the figures in the Phantom Menace line, you'd be able to articulate and hinge across if you wanted to, but with these it's just fixed like that. So I mean, there's only one pose I want him in anyway, which is like that. So it's fine, but that could be my number one, even with hard goods, if it had more articulation points. A brilliant figure. I've tried head swapping that with this, and it doesn't quite work. I don't think something's wrong. So that's that. Controversially, my next one. Oh yeah, by the way, there is another figure of Ben Kenobi I don't own. I think it was it the Power of the Jedi line? He's got his hood up as well, and lightsaber emitted, but I think this would beat it any day of the week. Next up is a figure that I'll never forget seeing. This pair of figures, I should say. 2003, I'd moved to London. I was in Hamleys, and not only did the Vader blow my mind, I thought, wow, that's a screen accurate Vader. I just loved seeing for the first time a Kenobi figure with robes that matched what I saw on screen. Look at the long robes of that old Ben there. It's brilliant. And older figures didn't necessarily showcase that very well, which you'll see coming up. But that's a great Ben. It's got the same, more or less, head sculpt as the Power of the Force 2-1. Not a million miles away, but it's just nice. I know you can't do much with the articulation. I think you can change the joints, but it's not for that purpose. These figures, these cinema scenes were specifically made to capture the essence of one moment, like a photograph of the film. Beautiful statues. Highly recommend you picking some of them up. Highly affordable as well. Next one is a figure that was one I just had to get back whenever I got it because of the fact it came without the robe. This was like such a good Ben figure for having him inside the house, you know. And I use this figure next to the little table that comes with this Legacy figure with R2 and a Luke figure and a 3PO. What is it? Your father's lightsaber. On his belt, though, it's not his lightsaber. It's obviously Anakin's that you can see. I presume you could swap it, but when I bought this figure naively, I thought it was his lightsaber, and I like the look of that as well. The fact that you could see his belt, his hilt swinging on his belt, I should say. But it all ties into, you know, the scene when he's talking to Luke about when he passes Luke his father's lightsaber, although he takes it straight out the case and puts it in Luke's hands. I don't quite know why this is on his belt exactly. That's a bit unclear, but still, it's a good figure. Plus, it's not as bulky as Mr. Power of the Force 2 over there. Let's move on to that now. I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't going to let nostalgia get in the way of this video. When I did my R2-D2 video in this series, I had to give R2 a high position in the list. But I'm going to be really sort of critical of the figures because, I mean, this is not the original. This is a retro collection figure, but one might mark, I could easily mark this down below this Power of the Force 2 figure because the fact that the colour doesn't match and there's lots of things wrong with it, technical aspects of the figure, but I still can't put him behind that figure. You know what I mean? So next in the list is the classic old Ben. This is the whitehead version. Again, this is the retro collection, so it's slightly inaccurate, but would you like to see an original? Here is an original. There's not much in it. See, there you go. That is an old Ben from the original line. There's a whitehead one as well. It's got a repro cape on though, ladies and gentlemen. But it's just a classic. But I love about this figure the fact that, again, a bit like what I was talking about with the robes of this guy, it was just lovely to see the robes that went right down to the ground. It's more accurate. The colour scheme is better and way better than the original. The lightsabers, the translucent type, it's got the silver hilt, beautiful. Power of the Force 2, I missed the boat with it. You didn't see much of it in the UK where I was, but I remember seeing a whole load of pictures of them in a magazine. I think it was Sky magazine, not Sky TV, but I'm sure there was a magazine called Sky. It was like a pop culture mag or music mag or something like that. But I remember thinking, wow, look at them, they've done it. They've made upgrades to the figures and made them more like on screen. So it'll always have a place in my heart, this figure, because I was dying to get hold of it. When eBay first opened in 2004, one of the first things I did was go on there and look for this figure. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it, man? I like that. So kind of in last place, joint last place. Oh, by the way, before we move on to that, I thought I'd show you this. This isn't really necessarily a figure of Ben, but it's a lovely sculpted hard goods sculpt of Ben's empty robes after he transcended into the Force. There's a loose lightsaber on the top, but there's one sculpted onto it. Let me just show you that there. Yeah, I kind of put that. I think that's a Luke one though with this. I'm sure is that Luke with the brass? And Obi-Wan isn't. I would suggest it was no brass. Except that one isn't. That's got brass on it. Very confusing. What's the deal, man? I knew there was a difference between the two. I thought Ben didn't have the brassy bronze tip, but Luke did. Not sure. Last place, I bought this lovely thing for Return of the Jedi. There you go, there's that mold again. That's definitely going to be last place because, as I say, one of the things that pushed that into second to last or whatever behind that one there is the fact that I've never liked the fact that this guy, like all of those figures, look like they're on steroids. So because that's got no feature to it, this is worse though. This one was gifted to me by Luke B. It's kind of glossy, this one. I think this was some sort of mail away, wasn't it? It's good to have it. I've got this currently on my Dagobah shelf. It's lovely. I quite like these ghosty figures. They're nice. I haven't really sought them out in the past, but with lighting conditions like today, it's quite bright in this on this January day. Coming through, it's nice to look at it. But what I liked about this one is it's slightly more frosty. I like that one a bit more. I might change his position in a second so you can see a bit more light coming through. But I'd say he was last place, really. Force Ghost figures are always going to be very tricky to do. Until the day they invent some kind of hologram we can put on our display shelves, it's never going to be right, is it? But there you go. It's a rough idea. But again, of all the sculpts they could have used, it's that Power of the Force steroid abuse look. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about my list. That one will always be the best, that custom of mine. But we shouldn't be kit bashing. We should be getting from Hasbro, hopefully soon, the definitive anyway, which will be just one for all time to beat all the others. Thank you for watching one final time. This has been Only One Kenobi, Only One. Out.